Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and I've been on the internet sharing my opinions for, what now, 8 years? And in that time, I've learned a lot about how people express their opinions, how people frame arguments, what arguments are good arguments, what arguments are bad arguments, how people like to use ad hominem insults instead of actually debating the topic at hand, how people are just trolls, etc, etc. I've seen it all, pretty much. And because I'm someone who primarily talks about watching cartoons and critiques them in a sometimes fairly harsh way, I often run across people who try to use the don't like, don't watch argument. The argument goes like this: well, if you don't like the show, then just don't watch the show. This argument is used typically by fans of whatever I'm critiquing as a way to say, hey, don't worry about it. Why are you stressing out about the bad things in this show? They're not bad, you're just not a fan. Go away, don't watch it, ignore it, stop talking about it. So now I'm going to go through 6 reasons why I think the don't like, don't watch argument is stupid, counterproductive, and just illogical. Number 6. This is a very simple logistics thing. How do I know that I don't like something until I watch it? There is no way for me to do that unless you want me to watch part of the episode and then turn it off the second I don't like something, which is dumb, but otherwise, how would I know? And of course, if you watch 80 episodes of a show and you hate every episode, you're probably not gonna like the 81st episode, but still, you never actually know until you watch it. Number 5. Also, at the point in which I'm making a video on the subject, I've already watched it, so you telling me not to watch it is pretty dumb because I've already done it. I can't go back in time and unwatch it, now can I? Number 4. It encourages blind hatred of shows. As a fan of a show, which would you rather have? Someone watching the show and giving it a critique, pointing out where exactly they think the show went wrong, what they didn't like about it, what they liked about it maybe even, etc, etc, or would you like people just blindly bashing on a show without having seen it? Do you want people to judge the show just by the commercials? Do you want people to judge the show just by that one episode they saw? As someone who used to do that way back in my early days of YouTube, let me tell you, that is not how you critique something. That is not how you criticize something. And that's not how you want someone to talk about your show. If someone makes a video talking about what they hate about a show that I love, I will appreciate the video so much more if they give detailed, legitimate, informed reasons as to why they dislike the show, even if I personally disagree. I would rather that than people spitting out videos like, Steven Universe is dumb because the main character has blonde hair, which of course is inaccurate, but I don't know, maybe you'd get that impression if you've literally never seen an episode or commercial. If the point of your argument here is to get people online to stop quote-unquote hating on something that you like, well, this isn't gonna do it. All it's gonna do is make people bash the show on reasons that are completely unfounded. If you take away people who actually watch and ingest and try to piece apart and make legitimate criticisms on things, all you're gonna be left with is trolls and really immature people who don't know how to criticize something, who are judging it based on superficial things, having not seen the show because they don't like it, so they're not allowed to watch it. Number 3. I learn from what I watch. Even when I'm watching something bad, I try to learn something about why it doesn't work. I try to make value out of something that I personally don't see any value in. I try to piece it apart. I try to give my perspective. I try to put forth my arguments for why I think this way so that other people can come in and have a discussion with me and disagree with me and maybe even convince me otherwise. If I don't watch it just because I don't like it, how will I ever possibly even change my mind? How will I ever really learn exactly why I dislike something? Which I think is important if you care about learning about media and about stories and about how you digest things in your brain. When I make videos, I really try not to just bash on something I dislike, and I try to, at the very least, learn a little bit. By going with the mantra, don't like, don't watch, you're encouraging people to just turn away the second they dislike something, rather than actually sticking around and trying to understand and piece together what it is they don't like, so that maybe they can help find something else they do like, or maybe when they decide to tell stories of their own, they learn something and can create stories that suit their sensibilities and what they like. Watching something you dislike can be a productive learning experience. You can learn about other people's perspectives even. Even though you hate something, you can still watch it and see where other people like it, and that's a really interesting experiment in getting in someone else's shoes. And we can learn a lot about human behavior and the human mind by how humans write stories, and I know I'm kind of going going on a tangent here, and I'll probably talk about this in detail at some other time, but I think it is important to see things, even some things that we don't like, and talk about them. Number 2, I don't like this argument because you're effectively telling people to shut up. That is what it is. You are just saying, well, you don't like it, so stop having an opinion. As if only people who are fans are allowed to have their opinion heard. As if you have to be positive, and if you're negative, that's a bad thing. We're talking about media here. We're talking about art. We're not talking about criticizing a specific person. We're not talking about being mean or being a bully. And we're talking about people's opinions and perspectives on the art. And I don't think it's right to tell anyone to stop having an opinion or stop sharing their opinion. Especially on YouTube, where if you specifically do not want to hear about people talking badly about your show, you don't have to click on that video. You can just stay on an entirely different part of the internet and completely ignore the people who have bad opinions. And I know what you're thinking, hi guy, aren't you just now using the don't like, don't watch argument? Well, kind of, but you see, I'm using it on people who actually believe in that argument. I don't believe in that argument, but in these people's minds, the people who feel the need to come to my videos and say, don't like it, don't watch, well, that leads me to number 1. The dumbest thing about this argument is how much of a hypocrite it makes these people. You literally came on a video to complain, don't like, don't watch. How mind-blowingly stupid is that? That's like walking into the DMV and saying, man, people who go to the DMV are stupid. You literally decided to watch my video and then say something negative about it. Why did you watch it? Could it perhaps be because you wanted to learn about my opinion? Could it perhaps be that if you didn't watch my video and you still commented, it would be blind hatred? Could it perhaps be that you didn't know whether or not you would like my video until you clicked on it and watched it? See what I did there? So why do people use this argument? Aside from the kids who don't really know any better and the people who are just trying to shut you up through any means necessary, I think the reason why people use this argument is that there is some logic in it that can be applied in other places. For instance, if I tell you that I feel pain every time I punch myself in the face, you're probably going to reply with, hey, maybe you shouldn't punch yourself in the face. And that makes sense. If when you do something it causes you pain or discomfort or whatever, then yeah, the first thing that you're going to jump to is, well, maybe you shouldn't do this. But of course, that's leaving out the reason behind the thing. Sometimes you have to do something that is going to cause you some discomfort in order to get to a greater good. Like watching something you don't like in order to get a better understanding of someone else's point of view or make an entertaining video out of it. And of course, when it comes to media, it's an entirely different animal. When I watch this stuff, I don't actually physically feel any pain. There might be stuff that's incredibly stupid and very hard to sit through, but all I'm doing is still just sitting through something. The worst cartoon in the world is still better than any actual physical form of torture. Oh, and I hear you there with your, oh, but what if the cartoon has a very high-pitched whine that actually is audio torture? Yeah, smart guy, you get my point. It's that, in most cases, watching these cartoons, or any TV show really, isn't going to have any negative effect on you outside of wasting your time, or creating something that frustrates you and makes you dislike it. But for me at least, bad cartoons and bad media like this, yeah, it does frustrate me, but never to the point where it actually affects my life in any meaningful negative way. And ultimately, I chose to watch it because I want to talk about it, because I want to discuss it, because I want to do something with this material. It's not just me punching myself in the face for no reason. I have a reason to do what I'm doing. You might not like it, you might disagree with it, but there is a reason behind it. So please, if you see anyone using this argument, feel free to link them this video, or if they're young, try and explain why that particular line of reasoning doesn't make any sense. And if you like a TV show or movie or really anything, and you come across a YouTube video where someone is talking about how much they dislike that thing, rather than trying to shut them up with the don't like, don't watch, or don't participate argument, how about you actually discuss with them their opinions and why you disagree? This is the internet, so that argument, like a lot of other things, is never ever going to go away. But if I stopped even one person from using it ever again, or if I've managed to entertain or inform you, I think I've done my job here. Pie Guy rules, out.